Hey guys, today I'm in Sungei Wang Plaza, and this mall has been around for like ages. It was built during the 70s, and I can say during back time, during its heydays, is the mall. You heard me right, it was the mall to come if you want to bring your family to get free air condition. And also we have a lot of retail outlets which you can spend countless hours here. Back then it was super crowded, shoulder to shoulder, especially on the lower floor. Even on the third floor, I remember very clearly during my younger days, it is also shoulder to shoulder traffic, especially on the weekends. As you can see, the foot traffic on the lower ground is relatively very decent, not bad. We're going to explore the upper floors, and then we're going to compare this foot traffic to the lower ground floor, so that we can have an idea. Many of the old stores here does bring back memories. The design, the concept of these old cluttered retail outlets. It is a very narrow space to walk. But back then, during my younger days, we don't mind this thing. But now, I think most of the mall lovers prefer a wide open concept design. This sort of old-fashioned cluttered design no longer favorable. Maybe that's the reason why the foot traffic on this mall has dropped considerably. I think because due to this location, Sungei Wang Plaza, it does bring a lot of foreign traffic that come to this side of the town. Since this is Kuala Lumpur, Kuala Lumpur is one of the main attractions for tourists, I believe that this is one of the malls that tourists may drop by. As for locals, I don't think it's that attractive anymore. Well, what do you guys think? Write in the comments below. Did I get this right or wrong? I would like to know your opinions. Reason I'm here today at this Sungei Wang Plaza, one of you guys commented, asked me to drop by here and check this place out. Right now, I'm not seeing much of a dead mall, but I believe later as we go up to the first, second and third floor, we shall see. Sorry, this is the level C, which is one level below the LG, which is the lower ground. The foot traffic is decent, I would say slightly above average, and most of the retail outlets are active, or I would say remain open. Looks like occupancy on level LG and level C is around 80 to 90%. On level LG, however, it's a different story, is approximately around 80%, just based on my observation here. And if you're a foreigner and your height is approximately 6'3", 6'4", you're going to struggle coming to level C because it's kind of claustrophobic. So this is how high the ceiling is. So I'm about 6 foot. Well, again, if you're a tourist or local Malaysian that has never visited Sungei Wang Plaza, I do recommend you to come to this place. Although it's not as glamorous or exciting as what it used to be during its heydays in the 80s and 90s, but it's still an iconic mall that most Malaysians grew up with. In that sense, we don't know how long this mall could last due to so many competition surrounding this mall. That's the reason why I'm telling you guys, at least just to drop by once in your lifetime, so that you won't miss out what I've been through, or some of us that are old enough to remember that what this mall were during its glory days. Hey everyone, tell me when was the last time you dropped by to Sungei Wang Plaza? Write in the comments down below. Or when was the last time you bring your family to Sungei Wang Plaza? This is a very interesting question. I think that the audience here would like to know. Just write down below. The ground floor traffic is quite decent. Most of the foot traffic is on the lower ground. Maybe because the F&B is there. The Jumper side is a much needed refresh for Sungei Wang Plaza. Very modern, upscale, contemporary. I like the design very much. But it's strange enough, there's lack of traffic on this section. Most of the foot traffic, even on the ground, is on the old face. From what I can see, it's such a waste that the newer side didn't attract that much foot traffic. Even now, during lunchtime, on the weekdays, and today I'm recording this video is on the Friday, there's not many people here. The old wing, the traffic is much better. Strange enough. There are so many vacant retail outlets here who are unoccupied. So I'm not sure what the management do to attract the retailers from the old face to fill up this newer face. The management actually should encourage the retail outlets from the old phase to migrate to the new phase while they refurbish the older side, so that they have a better matching feel in terms of theme. Right now is yin and yang, more or less is, in Chinese we call it yin yang, is a mixture of both. Well, if I'm the management, I would consider give a good rental rate to attract the retailers from the old phase to fill up all the spaces here. in the new phase in Jumpa so that you can increase the foot traffic here. Right now, it's barely half of the retail lots are occupied. Pretty much a void here. It's like a new ghost town in Sungei Wang Plaza. Mind you, this is on the ground floor. I'm not talking about the higher floor, which we're going to get to later. So for those who are unaware, Sungei Wang Plaza actually went through two phases of facelift. First was in the 90s, and then the second one was quite recent, about 10 years ago. It's around 2010. I think, not mistaken, it's 2012. Back then, when this mall opened during its 70s, it was crazy. Every Malaysians or even foreigners will come here. But right now, it's a different story. Many of the strong retail brands are no longer occupying Sungei Wang Plaza. So the current retail outlets here in Sungei Wang Plaza are mostly, I can see, are small retail mums and pub shop. I think it's a good thing rather than all the big retail outlets conquering all the big spaces. There are potential actually for this mall. Even on the ground floor, the retail outlets on the side are empty. This is on the old phase. Just based on a short tour on the ground floor, looks like it's 40% vacant. Considering Sungei Wang Plaza is a very prime location, it's kind of weird that there's so many retail outlets that are not taken up. But I do, however, want to stress that the hybrid style of this mall, where you consist of the Jumpa side, which is the modern side of the mall, versus the older side, which is the Sungei Wang Plaza, it doesn't blend in or gel in that well. Personally, to me, they should have just refurbished the entire mall to a more modern concept. But the take-up rate so far, even on the Jumpa side, is very bad. And if I have to open a shop here, will I consider the Jumpa side or the old Sungei Wang Plaza side? I would prefer the Sungei Wang Plaza side. Although it's old, the foot traffic there is much better as compared to the new Jumpa side. Although in terms of the design, I prefer the Jumpa side, but in terms of foot traffic, the old side is still flourishing, although there's less crowd compared to what it was during its prime time. I remember when I was a little boy, I would say in my teenage years, my family used to come here to Sungei Wang Plaza. We don't have our own cars, so we pretty much take the public transport. If you can remember, the public transport back then was the minibus. During back then, that's what we took in order to come to Kuala Lumpur, because most of the bustling and happening malls are all located in Kuala Lumpur. There are barely any good ones in PGA except the Jaya Mall. Back then, it was kind of a fun journey just to cram yourself in a small, tiny minibus with my family to get to this mall. So we spent quite a number of hours here. Usually, we will depart in the morning and we will leave after dinner. So it's just like a full day family get-together shopping tour. So if you guys can remember, during the early days of the minibus, they also have this longer, bigger bus. In short, we call it SJ bus, if you still can remember. I believe the full name is Sri Jaya bus. If I can remember back then, I think we have to interchange in between minibus and Sri Jaya bus. So that was back then during my younger days. Tell me also in the comments down below if you've gone through the same journey or experience like I did during your younger days when you need to get to this mall, so that the rest of the audience who are much younger than we are can also relive the experience, or you have different experience, also write it down so that can have a good laughing conversation. On the second floor in Sungei Wang Plaza, there's quite a lot of empty retail space. During its heydays, Sungei Wang Plaza was and were quite busy. Even before they refurbished, they have quite a decent foot traffic. Now is something missing. So if you are old enough to remember, in the 80s and even in the 90s, this mall is full of foot traffic and extremely busy on the weekend. Right now, it's just not the same as what I used to remember. Do share your experience in the comments down below if you have been to this mall in the 80s and the 90s. What do you think it was back then and compare to what it is now in this year 2024? Do you think this mall will relive its past glory, or is just on the decline? The third floor of Sungei Wang Plaza is about the same. Looks like there are still lots of empty retailers. There are barely any foot traffic. Right now, as you can witness in this video, I'm the only one here walking in this alley. It doesn't look like it was when during its heydays. Well, again, because I like to stress that Sungei Wang is on a very, very competitive location. Remember, this is KL, Kuala Lumpur. And there are many malls in close proximity who are competing for the same foot traffic. Walking distance away, there's a mall called Lot 10 right opposite, and also there's one direct opposite, which is the Berjaya Times Square. And of course, next to the Berjaya Times Square mall, there is another new mall, which is the Lalaport, and they are not doing that well. I'm going to take my time to review that mall, so just wait for that video to come out in a couple of weeks' time. Also, not to mention, there's a pavilion quite close by, Star Hill, so there's lots of stream competition. Well, overall, the hybrid new side of the mall, which is called the Jumpa, and also the old face, I don't think so it worked well. They should have just refurbished the entire mall. Right now, as you can see in this video, the low ceiling height of this mall, it doesn't age very well, especially if you are a 7-foot tall foreigner who comes to this mall. You will feel that this place is kind of claustrophobic, especially you go to the lower ground. Now, if you like this video, smash the like button. And if you do like my content in this video, especially the Dead Mall series, do consider subscribing to my channel and click on the notification button so that you won't miss all my future uploads. My name is Chester Cheng. I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers guys!